I asked you guys with this rational function, we don't know much about other asymptotes yet, or sketching it entirely, but kind of moving towards that direction. Hopefully you factored it. Boys, what goes in the numerator? I asked you guys to factor it. 2 and 3, right? What combination of 2 and 3? Positive 2, turn for phones, and negative 3. And then girls down here? Positive 4 and negative 3. Raise your hand if you got that in your factoring. For those who are juniors who need help in factoring, that's what we did in the past 12 days in my Math 5 class, just factoring. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright, so what are some things that we know? Yesterday we learned to find the domain algebraically. How did we do that? Okay, so if I set this not equal to 0, you can't see that. Then I can set each of those not equal to 0. And then here I will get x is not equal to negative 4 and x is not equal to 3. So now those are my vertical asymptotes. I have something here at 3, I'm not quite sure what it is. Everyone say dotted. The vertical asymptotes better be dotted. Okay, so you could have found the y-intercept. If you put in x equals 0, what do you get for your y value? Zero goes there, goes away, 0 goes in there, 0 goes away, 0 goes away. So you just have negative divided by negative is? Positive what? How do you reduce that? One half. Oh my goodness. 2 and 6. Oh my goodness. Okay. Count with me. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3. We would think that there's 3 things that are happening to this graph. Okay, so if I make y equal to 0, just think about this. You can do this by hand if you want to. We're not going to spend the time. This is 0, right? And then you cross multiply. This is going to go away. Yes? So you have 0 equals to that. And then if you set each of those equal to 0, you'll get x to be what? Negative 2 and positive 3. Okay, those are review things that we should know. So if we just quickly graph those, 0 and 1/2. I got negative 2, 0. And I got 3, 0. Okay, this one doesn't make sense, right? Is your alarm starting to go on? We know that nothing should be touching the asymptote. And hopefully in this problem you guys used your, could be possibly a graphing failure. What does that mean? Let's put it in. Okay, let's just say you don't know how to factor, okay? I would not put in the factored one then. xx minus x minus 6 divided by xx plus x minus 12. Zoom 6. Okay, so how do you know that the graph goes past the asymptote? You could have actually just looked at your table of values, and let's just say I want a value at 1, so I press in 1, enter, I get 0.6. And if I press in 2, it's going a little bit higher. If I press in 3, we get the error, because if you put in 3 minus 3 is 0, 0 times anything is 0, class something divided by 0 is? You will get a 0 on your test. It is undefined. Okay? Now, let's just say you go past it. Everyone say past. What's the number past 3? 4. So if you put in 4, you get 0.75. So you can see what's happening is that in your graph is doing something like this. Does that make sense? Now, I know it's going to be kind of curved somewhere. And so when you have these curves, I'm thinking it's kind of like mirrored. So I'm thinking over here it's going to be a graph. So let's go ahead and move there. See it. And so now our graph looks like this. Now we talked about what would happen to our graph. What happens here at the asymptote? And this point. Remember, everything on this graph is a closed circle, but here it's going to be a, everyone say open circle. So when you're evaluating f at 3, your x value is 3. What is your y value? Here it is undefined. Text your friend, turn off your phone, undefined. Make sure you use parentheses. I'll come check later. Alright, f at 0. Now you could just use your calculator. You're going to get -2. No, 0.5. When you put in 0, you'll get 0.5. When you go to -4, what happens? What would happen if x is equal to -4, class? -4 plus 4? 0 times anything? Something divided by 0? Undefined. Good, that was better. And then at -2, we already know that based on our table of values, the answer is 0. So this is yesterday's lesson. If I just gave you the graph, could you figure out what happens when you're evaluating a function? We're kind of putting all the puzzle pieces together. We haven't talked about a horizontal asymptote yet. I told you to keep factoring it. And really, let's write a little message here. If we know the graph continues on and this is an open circle, then this asymptote does not exist. DNE. What does that stand for, class? Does not exist.